This is for Alejandro Vera, um, and he's got questions on his armor and stuff. Okay, so the first thing that I would say right off the bat is that you want to get your anatomy down first. Excuse me. So the anatomy is the big aspect here. Um, Putting in, the head of the figure, um, getting the neck proportions, putting in the chest, and depending on which way he's facing, you're going to have the the stomach with the hips turned like so, and then kind of a twist like this, and then the perspective is what you really need to look at here. So if we move this across, and this is like this, and this would be equidistant, so you need to kind of keep that bilateral. And that means that this is going to be the one you're going to put the weight on here. So like so, and like this, and that's going to basically push it in a little bit more. And then this one isn't going to be as far out. You can't really spread your legs that far out and look balanced. And so putting that information on like so is going to really kind of help that out. There's the ankle, like so. And then this is going to flatten out versus this is going to be more triangle shape. So, and then on top of that, you're building up muscle. So putting out this arm here is going to have more angle on it, and like so, and then this is going to be over here, and it's not going to go as far, and then it's going to, the way you've got it twisted, it's going to come up a little bit more. So that would be your initial pose, a little bit closer to that, and then you can bulk up the chest, and put a little bit more shoulders and things like that on there. You can do all of that, but in all reality, it's not going to kind of change that much. I mean, even a forearm is going to kind of change that. So that's the first thing that I would say right off the bat is get your anatomy down so that your proportions look a lot better. Um, then once that's done, your armor is going to actually change quite a bit. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna just grab this here and kind of move this off to the side, and then move this over here. And so let's do a yellow for the armor. So the armor is not as big as you think, because this is a kind of a World of Warcraft style armor type of thing. So what I would say is your chest plate comes up over here, and this is your chest plate. It's going to have the ribs under here. Start looking at how armor is constructed, and that's going to tell you a lot more. So there's usually a strap over like so, and then if this chest plate comes down, it usually hangs a little bit more. The belt goes generally underneath it, unless you've got that type of thing going on. And then the greaves, or the codpiece and greaves, are going to kind of surround it a little bit more. So you need to really think about how the armor fits over your intended piece, and look at regular armor. That's, I think, the biggest issue is you're just putting on plates, but you're not realizing how actual armor looks. So regular armor would have, this is actually belts or tins that kind of seam that together so it wraps around the thigh. You'd have belts and straps that would show up under here. This is this here has got to have some sort of way to kind of put things on there, and these all kind of leave what you're looking for. You're lacking that detail, that desire that you need. So putting that on there is going to help quite a bit. The next thing is, so once you start putting this in there, so I'm going to just kind of mark on top of yours. So I would have a belt here. Actually, let me undo this real quick, and let's pick a darker color and a new layer. Okay, so I would put my belt here, and this would be, my first piece. I would, maybe have some straps here. I'd probably have on the inside here, let me just erase this. Oops. So on the inside here, I would have like almost where the seam of this goes. So you would see these seams in here where they bent the metal around, and then you'd have the seam of kind of how the metal is put together. And that's, I think, a key portion in most, most people just try and draw these shapes, and they don't realize that the shapes come with, construction methods. And that's kind of what you want to look at as a reference for that. And then go back and let's grab in, some belts and how are those strapped together. It maybe has a little buckle here. I'm just gonna draw that detail in there. So things like that. These will probably have pins that they hook in. Straps. All of that stuff adds to that definition. And then the other thing is you've got lighting that needs to be addressed. So your main source of lighting comes from, let's pop a new layer here. So your main source of lighting comes from this direction here. Well, you've got lighting coming from the bottom here. You've got lighting coming from all over the place. So the lighting needs to be adjusted and fixed. So here needs to be lighting. This needs to be lit. You've got this lit here. It's kind of maybe some pieces like this. Let's grab some yellow, some bright highlights there. This is going to have some lighting. Grab some lighting here. This will probably get some lighting here. You might even get some lighting in the back here that shows through from the rim as far as that goes. So that might be, needed to be lighting. And then the other parts would be, so this is your lighting. The other parts are going to be in shadows. So we would go with like a multiply. And I'm just going to pick the dark brown. So I'm not going to see the harsh lighting on this here. I'm going to see really harsh lighting underneath here. Same thing under here, probably under here. I'm probably going to get a little bit more shape and form, something like that. And then maybe like, I don't know, something like that. This is going to have a thick lighting down the middle. There's going to be lighting here, lighting underneath, lighting down here, maybe some shadows, dark lighting here. So as you can see, by getting that proper lighting in there, you're going to get a lot more depth and dimension from your entire piece. This is going to have dark lighting under here, here, so on and so forth. And right now I'm roughing it in really quickly. Maybe even this is going to have some lighting here, depending on how that kind of is built. And so that when that's all said and done, you've got the lighting in there. I'm just going to do a Gaussian blur real quick, and then I'm going to grab this and merge it down, and grab this, merge it down. Oops. No, not that one. So I grab this here, merge it down, and grab that. So by doing that, that's gonna help out too. And then you want to change your brush style, and it doesn't matter really what your brush is going to be. I'm just going to use toothbrush, which is just a spattered brush here. And so then you're going to start by adding in, details of how the armor is dirty and scratched and battle ridden. So maybe a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here, something like that. Maybe and then maybe it's got I'm just going to go red here and pop in, and it tells more of a story if I've got a streak of blood in there. Let me. And I need to go through and clean my brushes up, but change skin. And Spatter. Okay, so I'm going to just take a spatter brush that I have here. Oops, way too big. And, you know, oops, something. Let's multiply that. And let's take, you know, and all I'm doing is just kind of, I can go in and erase, clean up. But you can really quickly see how that kind of detail adds in a huge aspect of what I'm doing. And then even further, you know, you can add in, like, let's merge that, new layer. So then we can add in, you know, like scrapes and scrapes and shadows where you've got, you know, you actually got hit. So we can put a shadow in there and then like so. And do you see how that makes a huge difference? Also, it's details like, look at here. You've got this, and I'm just going to pop this up here. So you've got this gold bar coming like this, but then this bar kind of angled like that. You know, details in there, getting that straight up and down are going to really make a huge difference. Um, and those are things that you really want to, you know, take a look at and kind of detail out. Look at bone horn. Bone horn's gonna have like little tendrils of dark and light in there that are going to kind of sell your image a lot better, instead of just having the way that you have a lot of bright on this side here, but you know, darkening the shadow, you know, putting a little bit of dark underneath, things like that. That's all going to sell your end result of your piece. But look at reference. That's the biggest thing you can do. All right.